Hi, this is Courtney, and I wanted to do a little update on the Resourcefulness Challenge, which was my challenge for a year to not buy clothes, purses, shoes, or books. But it has bled into so much more, and I've talked about this in previous videos. And today I want to talk about some of the habits that we have to financial freedom. The first habit is, and I'm going to just go through these and explain them, is to pack food. The second one is driving, planning, goals, being measurable, wiggle room, and being on the same page. The first one, packing food. Today I packed my lunch, and I do eat out sometimes, and I've talked extensively about, like, I'm not going to forego that as something I'm not going to do, because it is one of the only things entertainment wise I do. I don't spend a lot of money in any other areas, but every once in a while I want to go out to eat with a girlfriend or my husband, but I'm not excessive about it. And so today I packed my lunch for work, and we don't have a place because of the schedule at work. The kitchen is not available when I need it, so I have to pack cold foods or not eat. But most days I can eat at home, so that's not a problem. When I travel, we pack food, so we minimize stopping at convenience stations and things like that. We just pack things instead, and you get used to it, and you get where you would rather have something really good in your cooler than having some crappy mixed nuts from the sit-go station. The second thing is driving, and I kind of feel a little bit like a hypocrite talking about this because I drive so much. And it's not really because I want to, it's I have to. We live in the country. My work is a 50 to 60 mile round trip. Town is about a 40-mile round trip for me. So I try to plan things in a way that I can do everything together. So I'm at work today. It's my long day. I have a morning class and an afternoon class. I'm a yoga therapist, and so I'll do intensive cardiac rehab in the morning and the afternoon. I have like a 3.5 hour lunch break though. For about 45 minutes, I stay in the office and get some of my computer work done. Then I will go and eat my lunch. Usually I pack it, or I will pick up something on those days and meet my husband, kind of use it as a date, time for us. And then I usually go to the gym. We have a membership to Planet Fitness, and for $20 a month, we get, workout, massage chair, tanning if we want that. So there's a lot of benefits there, and it's really cheap. So I try to utilize that membership and this time I have to work out, so that when I get home on Wednesday nights, I don't have to go anywhere again. I also use this time to run errands. So I minimize my driving, or I plan my driving around where I'm going to be. And I also, if you own your own business, let's say I have to do something, I have to go to town, or I need to take a trip somewhere. Let's say I want to go to Eureka Springs. If I can go to a yoga class or find something work related to do, that's also a tax deduction for me. So that's another thing I do. Planning, I'm the planner and the one that's the budget person, and my husband is more kind of seat of your pants. He's not a spendthrift. But like yesterday, here's an example, and I'm not saying this is wrong or right. He wanted a rose garden, so he went and bought roses and all the stuff to build a rose garden. I would rather take the money for the rose garden and pay everything off. And we had a budget for landscaping, and it was supposed to happen after we sold the house, but he didn't wait. He wanted to go ahead and do it. And so we are having to have a talk about that. Like, what are our goals? When are we going to do them? So having a plan. Not having a plan is one of the biggest causes for people to spend money, because if you don't have a plan, you just randomly, are kind of flying by the seat of your pants, and you're not telling your money where to go. And that's very dangerous to a financial plan. And the second thing, and I'm going to get to the kind of the gray area with that in a minute, if you want to call it that. You have to have goals. You need to know why you're doing what you're doing. I mean, it's not like a diet where you say, this diet, I'm going to lose 10 pounds. And in a way it is, but this is a lifestyle, just like eating healthy and exercising is a lifestyle. Some people eat healthy and exercise until they get to a certain weight, and then they go right back to their old habits and get back in the same situation. this kind of lifestyle is the same thing. You plan for your vacations. You plan for your meals out. You have a plan. Our plan right now is to try to pay our house off in 2 years. And we're getting ready to have a conversation. We did this morning. But I think we're going to kind of cut back on all projects except a few certain ones. And I'll talk about that. And then not spend any money for 2 years on anything but paying the house off and those things that we like to do. So you have to have, it has to be measurable, and you have to be able to see. If I know, Jim and I both make on our day jobs kind of very low wages, teacher and police officer pay, but we have a second job, and we have for years. And so those jobs are kind of our extra money, our payment plan. So during the week, I work as a yoga therapist. On the weekends, I train teachers 1 to 2 weekends a month. And all of that money goes, that's left over, anything left over. I'm not going to say all of it, because sometimes I'll help my kids with college tuition and things like that, or a car or something like that. But a lot of that money will go into savings or debt payoff. So knowing how much you're going to spend on your debts and on your saving is important, having a budget. The wiggle room, you do need some wiggle room. It's like if you were trying to get healthy and you went vegan, paleo, and gluten-free, that would be so many restrictions that it would be very hard to stay on it. So having one plan is easier, and having some wiggle room, like let's say you're going paleo and you don't need to be gluten-free, then it might, and by the way, I am gluten-free, so that's kind of a weird one for me to use, but it would be really hard to do both, even though I think they're probably really compatible, you know what I'm saying? Or to go vegan and do low carb. That's a challenge, because low carb requires a lot of, protein and things like that. So you got to have some wiggle room, like wiggle room to take a vacation. So I talked to my husband this morning about, what if we did like a 2-year plan of paying the house off, and we just decided to, like, only necessities. And he was like, well, what about going camping or fishing? So I said, well, we can talk about that. So maybe in the budget we have a certain amount of money set aside. He found a camper that he's going to do some kind of barter with, and maybe we just say we don't replace the little boat we have for 2 years, and we have this little camper, and our budget for camping or vacations is a couple of $1,000s every 2 years. And then when we get everything paid off, we'll do a bigger vacation. So you need some wiggle room. You each need to have some pocket money that you can do what you want. That's important. You need to be able to have some freedom where you don't have to feel accountable to the other person if you are have a partner. And if you're not, giving yourself $100 a week or $50 a week, whatever your budget is, to go out to eat, to buy something, but not just, paying your bills and everything that's left over is what you have to spend. That's a very dangerous plan. And then being on the same page. If you are single, that's not such a problem. When I was single, I was dating Jim, but we didn't split finances. I was able to pay off a lot of debt and save a lot of money. I'm extremely frugal and thrifty. I was raised by Depression era grandparents. And, we did that whole saying of either use it up, wear it out, or do without. I can't remember how that goes, but it's like, if we didn't have something that we needed, then we either found a substitute, and we only bought things when we needed it, and we reused everything. I mean, we reused the trays that frozen dinners came in for years, and my grandmother did meal prep in those. So before meal prep was even a word, my grandmother would fill them back up, cover them with aluminum foil that had probably been washed and used 10 times, and we would reuse them. So being on the same page with your partner, if you are like me and you're very frugal and thrifty and your partner's not, you're going to have some wiggle room in there to give them some freedom to do some things. And then if you are the one that's kind of more of an emotional spender, and when you get paid, you're going to pay the bills, and then everything that's left over is just going to go, then it would be good to have someone you could be accountable with, or set up some kind of accountability where the rest of your money goes into some kind of automatic savings, and you have an emergency fund and a goal for what you're going to do. Like my son is wanting to move right now. His girlfriend graduates college in a year. You know, I'm going to use him as an example because I don't know that he's doing, right now it's summer. He has a really good job in the summer. He makes a lot of money, as much as I do. And, but it's a seasonal job. I'm hoping he's putting money back every month so that when the seasonal job runs out, he has some money and that he's putting money back to be able to move. You know, a lot of people just don't plan for things like that. So the scenario would be, let's say you wanted to move in a year from now and you wanted to have $2,000 to make that move, then you would be saving and putting away money for that move so that when it came, you would be able to do it. Otherwise, you get stuck. And that's all financial freedom is. It's the ability to make decisions and have the freedom to make decisions because you have the money to take care and do what you want to do. I hope this has been helpful, and I appreciate you listening. Thank you so much. And if you like this, please subscribe and thumbs up. I would appreciate. Bye-bye.